By the time you take up office, the university will have set its fee levels and implemented any spending cuts. How will you make an impact on this issue when you take up office?
Well, I think that I don't think the battle's over. I think we've got to continue campaigning against any fee rises. Obviously, it's going to impact on our local community as it's one that's not so affluent. So I think we've got to look to them to actually help us out. It's interesting actually. My mum actually came up to me and said, "Why haven't you asked me to help with the fee rises?" You know, it's something that's we have good knowledge about as parents. We know that when you were going, it was going to cost you a lot of money. We considered whether it was the best option for you. And I come from a decent family, so some from who aren't so well off. It may be difficult for them to even afford it. I go into schools at the minute for the AIM Higher scheme, and the kids there, they're perhaps on a boundary of whether they'll actually go to university or not. And what's coming from their parents is that it's perhaps not the best option for them now, so we've got to move against it.
What do you think are the 3 key issues affecting Salford students in the next 12 months?
Well, again, actually, you've mentioned one of them, of course, already. The fees is going to be something that we have to work through. For students specifically, it's actually going to be, through the fees, it's got to make sure that they're not losing any services that's been provided to them. If the fees are going to go up, obviously the services have to be of a better level, otherwise you're not getting your money's worth. So we have to make sure there's no cuts to begin with. I think I've mentioned in my manifesto a lot about societies. That's where I feel the hub of the union is now. So, and I think we have to look at ways we can reward them. I've mentioned in my manifesto that discounts perhaps can be offered to them in the student union services such as cafe and bar yours and the shops that are around campus. I think we need to work on grasping more student opinion. I mean, we don't get out there enough, so I'd just say try and interact with students as much as possible on all campuses, not just the main Peel Park campus.
How will you uphold the union's equality and diversity values when you're in office?
Well, first of all, I mean, we've got such a wide range of students here at Salford. We've got to look at integrating them into the union itself. As I've been here involved with the societies, the diversity isn't actually that great within my own personal one. And I think that's where we have to actually be looking to different ranges of people. As I've already said, I think diversity actually comes into it with the people on different campuses. I think we've found some there. We've obviously got, there was an event on with Labour students that LGBT, and that was very well attended. I actually arrived to that thinking it would be quite poorly attended. It wasn't particularly well advertised. It was just a friend was going, and it was very well advertised. So that these people are willing to get involved. We've got to look to measures to involve them as much as possible, whether that's through advertising specifically to diversities or rewarding societies who actually go out there themselves and do something good for them.